Guys, today I'm going to show you how to create your own chatbot with the help of Together.ai, which is a cloud hosting for open source models. So, in the beginning, what we have to do, we have to create a virtual environment. And to do this, we are going to use is we install UV. Done. UV is a package manager for Python. After UV, we have to create. We just run UV. You will see that you have to do a create virtual environment. Then we do UV, DE, and D. Done. It create a virtual environment for me, and this is how we are going to activate it. Now it's activated. Now, the next thing is we need to install the dependencies. So we are going to do pip install Streamlit. We are going to do request. We need to use Together.ai, which is a cloud hosted. We're going to show you later. We have to do this pip install. Also, we want to make it secure. So we are going to load our environment variables. All our API keys, any secret keys needs to be stored in an env file. For that, we are going to do is python.env. So it's installed. Good. Now, our next portion is we have to go to this website called Together.ai. So from here, we are going to connect, start building now. So it will go to this API, and then we have to go to settings. We have to go to the settings. We have to go to the API keys, and we have to create an API. In this case, I have already created my API key. So if you want, you can always regenerate an API key. You copy the key. You go to env. You paste it. Right, done, and you have API. Now let's go with the main code. So as I said, we are going to use Streamlit, which is a front end to show my chatbot. This is a request that will go help us request to the API calls you are going to make, or which is an application protocol interface. That means this API call is going to go to the model which is hosted in a cloud platform. Together AI is the cloud platform. So we all have this, and then we are going to first load environment variable, and then we are going to call this client together. Where are we getting this code? If we go in Together.ai, if we go to playgrounds chat, if we go to API, we are going to see here it gives us the code to get some response. So if you want to code in Python, you can get the Python code. If you want TypeScript, you get it in TypeScript. If you want curl, is for bash. Okay. In this case, we are coding today in Python, so we have this. So before getting the whole main code, we have to go for the API URL. So in this case, we have this API URL, API together XYZ v1, and this is the URL endpoint from which this llama 3.3 is gonna be loaded. Now we have something called headers, a variable where we are gonna load our API key, and this API is authorized through a bearer token. So we have to make sure you have this bearer here, and then we are going to second bracket. We have to say os dot get environment is get this environment variable from here and take this API token. Okay, after this, what are we going to do? We are going to go for a function called get response, and this get response function is going to take an input call messages. And what does this mean? Whatever prompt we are going to give to the chatbot is going to go through this input parameter. So now we need a payload. Payload means all the parameters that we need to put through to load this model. So we have this model name, Quen. In this case, we are using Quen, which is an open source model, and all the models can be found here. We go to dashboard, so playground. If we go to Together.ai, sorry, if we go to chat, if we go click here, you can see all. If you go click here models, you're going to see all the models that you can use. You can also see the models that you cannot use free. I can also use to pay how much. So you can use this, use this, use this. So in this case, I'm using here Quen Q32B preview. So I'm gonna copy this and I'm gonna put it here. Then here are the messages, and this message is the role. So this message is the prompt and the content it should provide. Means what our messages we want to send it through to the ask the model. So it's going to be through here. So we have the maximum tokens with temperature. Temperature means how much creative you want your model to be. Normally the default is 0.7. The more lesser number, the more less creative it is, the more number of temperature, the more creative it will get. Top P and top K is not much necessary. Always keep it like this. It's better in a standard sense. Repetition penalty is how many times you want to repeat your prompts. A stream is if you want a detailed response, then you write the stream. But in this case, we don't need this stream. That's why we are going to keep it false. After this, we need this response. Whatever response we need to get it out. So we are going to request a post request to the model through this API URL. We see we are going to make a post request to this API endpoint. We are going to send our headers. In this case, we don't have our headers are this part. We are going to send our whole of this thing as a JSON payload, and we are going to see stream equals to true. Whatever request we send, we need to get. That means we are going to get this as a JSON response in this JSON format. So whatever is response JSON, and we are going to call this JSON function. So it doesn't matter whatever response here, we need to parse it out because it's going to give you a lot of different responses. But what we need is the exact response or messages. To show this, I will show you a call command here. If you do this, if you make a call command, see the messages is going to be go through here. So if we just enter, it's invalid API key. We are going to go export together. Export API underscore token equals to. We go to get this. G. So okay, why is it saying this? In this case, we are going to check our API key again. API underscore token. Do this. We're going to go settings. We're going to check our API keys. Then copy. paste. Okay, so I get it. So we have to give here API token in this case. In this case, okay, see, we have this call command in this stream of things, right? So we have this content, and this content it needs to be parsed. And how are we going to parse this content? So we have these choices. So it's going to be a lot of different array, and out of this array we are going to need this content. So this is how we are going to parse our content. Whatever inside is content, we are going to get this. And then we have this offline preview. This is for the front end in Streamlit. If you want, you can keep this. If you don't want, you can also remove it. So we are going to do have a title. So chatbot with llama. If so, this is a Streamlit function, which is state management for Streamlit. Whatever message is gonna put through. This is gonna have a chat history, and it's gonna show our chat history. Means if you write something, you need to see the previous message. It's gonna show you. So we have this markdown message, which is gonna go with the content. See, this content is gonna be loaded. So this is used for chat input as a appending. Means whatever prompt we are gonna give, it's gonna show one by one by one. So we have this chat message and a folder. We need a folder to get the empty messages, get the get response, and we have this response. At the end, we are going to get these messages from the chatbot history, and then we have the role, assistant, and the content response. And then we are going to header a plotly chart. So now let's test out. After running, write the code. We are going to write streamlit run main.py. See, it's now running. It's running in the browser. So we're going to do local URL. See, it has a title. It is how to deploy and everything. The 3D view that I was talking about. And here is a chatbot. What is this? That's right. It just says, I'm sorry, but I need more context on this provider. This chatbot responding. Can you provide me a 10-line Python code? So, to always ask you more context. Get me a 10-line Python code to animate website. Okay, Clem has some data, so at times it will get me a Python code to import requests. See, it is now you can easily talk with the chatbot. So now you have your own chatbot through Streamlit. Also, if you want to deploy it, you have to Streamlit. If you just So this is what I say, how to create your own chatbot at home through Together.ai and open source model. If you need more responses, feel free to write to me, subscribe to my channel. Stay tuned for more. Thank you very much for watching.